Okay, so the Yankees are 33-13. They look good. They're winning, winning games that they generally were not winning last year and even the years prior. So a lot of good things happening, but there's still some holes, right? There's still issues in the bullpen, issues in the starting rotation, or I sense issues because of lack of depth. So not necessarily injury. They're healthy. They're pitching well, but I could always, I think another starting pitcher would be a good idea. Okay, to supplant some of the short relievers and long relievers. So, and there's still issues in the outfield. We're getting a lot of non-production from Hicks and Gallo and some of these other folks, right? So, I'm going to give you 3 moves I think that could put the Yankees in the World Series. All right, these are doable moves. I think these are so it doesn't require trading Aaron Judge. Doesn't require trading for Juan Soto. Okay, I know that's the sexy move. But these moves will also give the Yankees the flexibility to re-sign Aaron Judge, which would be a popular move by the majority of the fans. Okay. And I think put them in a prime position to stay where they're at because the other team, they're keeping ground with the other team, just like the other teams are keeping ground with them. So, but at any point, I don't want them to fall into some really big funk. And I think these be some guys that would help them negate stuff like that. So I'll obviously be putting out the lineup later on. Garrett Cole's on the mound, and the recap tonight will go live for the usual Saturday night live stream. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you do that. And hit the like button and the bell icon so you don't miss a lot of cool stuff like this. But let's get into trade number 1, okay? This is a trade with the Kansas City Royals. The Yankees would acquire Andrew Benintendi, who's a 27-year-old outfielder. He's going to be a free agent this offseason, okay? But he's the perfect type of guy that can go in there. He's batting .321 right now, okay? He's a good contact hitter both ways. He's a good defender. Plus, he's playoff tested with Boston, so he's got postseason experience already. Makes him a good fit for the Yankees. It would make it easier for them to move on from guys like Gallo and Hicks if they find opportunities to do that, okay? And the other piece would be a Scott Barlow. The Yankees are really, really good at bringing in relievers that are on bad teams, that have good high strikeout rates, and that are just quality relievers. Barlow has 1.71 ERA. He's dealing this year, okay? And this is a multiplayer trade, right? So addressing bullpen, bringing in another reliever, okay, a reliable guy to that power group that we already have, which is a little bit hurt now. So, and a type of outfielder that could play in any part of the lineup, top part, bottom part, but again, give us good contact, especially from the left-handed side too. So this to me, I think a trade package would have to start at Everson Pereira and Luis Medina, and you'd have to go give more than that. Barlow's also under team control until 2025, so you have him for a couple years. Benintendi's a free agent at the end of the season, but I still think a relatively healthy prospect package would be good to a team like Kansas City, who's not going to be contending anytime soon in AL Central. So why not make a trade for them? And again, addressing 2 positions with 1 trade, that's the type of Cashman trade that he likes to do, and he's good at. So that's trade 1. Trade number 2 is for 1 player, Bryan Reynolds from the Pittsburgh Pirates. We've talked about this before. Okay, he's having a little bit of a slow year, batting .217. He's got 6 home runs, about 35 hits and whatnot, and he's doing a lot of things, but he's still up to a slow start. You put him on this team, on the Dylan Lawson, and surrounded by a much better lineup, I think he'll be blossoming. And again, he's a prototypical leadoff hitter who can be our center fielder for the long term. Okay? He's not a free agent until 2026. Okay, so you got controllable years. He's 27, youth too. And imagine making a trade for him and a trade with the Royals. Imagine bringing Benintendi here and Bryan Reynolds. You change the whole lineup, the whole dynamic. Okay. And this would be a guy I think would be, the package would have to start with Jason Dominguez. So I don't see a scenario in the world where you're going to get this guy, Bryan Reynolds, who even despite a slow start, he's a superstar. He's one of the best center fielders in baseball. He's also a switch hitter who does a lot of things, an excellent base runner, excellent defender. He has all the tools the Yankees need for a center fielder. And we haven't had that since really, Bernie Williams. Aaron Hicks, we were hoping that he would be that way, but it hasn't worked out. Right, so Bryan Reynolds to me would be a perfect guy here. And again, you'd have to start with Jason Dominguez and add quite a bit to it. But I think you can get him without giving up Anthony Volpe and these other guys. So to me, and I've said this before, he to me is the finished product of Jason Dominguez. Even though Jason Dominguez is looking really good now, he's starting to hit really well, Bryan Reynolds is the finished product. And if the Yankees want to win now, I think Bryan Reynolds would be a wise trade to make. Okay, and lastly, trade number 3 is a trade with the Cincinnati Reds. The LC connection, Luis Castillo and Luis Cessa. Okay, two guys. Okay, again, addressing starting rotation and addressing the bullpen. Now, they're all off to a slow start, yes. Luis Castillo had a delayed start to the season because he had some issues, but now he's healthy, and he's a prototypical number 2 guy we could plant in that rotation. behind Cole and behind these other guys. You add him to him and Nestor and Taillon and Castillo my God, Severino. You have a ridiculous lineup, a ridiculous rotation, I should say. And you add Loisaga, who's also off to a slow start. But I think, again, the Reds have undergone so much. They're a terrible team this year. Absolutely awful. So you bring him back here, and I think you let Matt Blake work with him, and he was a reliable pitcher here with the Yankees. He was a great performer. He's also a consummate, fantastic teammate. So none of these trades would affect team chemistry, which I think is important too. Where I know there's concerns where Juan Soto, I keep saying Luis Soto, Juan Soto trade would affect team chemistry, and even Michael Kay apparently alluded to that. So this is a situation where I don't think any of these trades would affect that. It would boost team chemistry, and again, you can address pitching and bullpen in one trade, okay? And you let Matt Blake work with these guys. You can address outfield in one trade with one superstar, or you can, again, and the superstar Bryan Reynolds is under team control and would not prevent them from re-signing Aaron Judge if they want to do that, okay? And the other trade addresses outfield and bullpen at the same time. So these three trades, I think, are doable trades. And again, they're not flashy blockbusters, but they are good, solid trades that I think that the Yankees could do. But I say they could do all three? Probably not. But one or two of these I think they can do. And if I was to choose one, I would probably be the trade with the Kansas City Royals, Benintendi and Scott Barlow, because then you can get a bullpen and get Benintendi and not have to worry about getting Bryan Reynolds. So that would be a trade for me. And then the Yankees can maybe make a trade for a starting pitcher somewhere else, because I would still add a starting pitcher. No matter what, no matter how great our rotation is, can't ever have enough depth. So you guys let me know what you think of these trades. Would you make any of these? Would you make any of your own? Let's get into this. Over now.